Can Kyle Filipowski be a big minutes plus player on a really good team? Let's make the case.
6.4 to play. The Jazz go over the top. Flip. Bodied up. Spins. Inside. Rocks the rim. And we're tied at 114.
If he had it. Ball had a little hang time on it. He caught it inside the three, but just a nice spin.
Jazz Smack, NBA and Utah Jazz basketball.
So we're going to go through a bunch of video clips and build the case that Kyle Filipowski can be that guy. Is he that guy at this very instance? No. I don't believe he's that guy right now, but he's just going into his second year, and I believe that Kyle Filipowski has the competitiveness and the drive and the skill level to be a good enough player on the defensive side that his offense is so good that he can be a big minutes player on a good team. So let's make that case and go through a bunch of video clips and build that and show his versatility first on offense, and then we'll look at some defensive things and see where he has some struggles. And can the positives on the offensive side overcome the negatives on the defensive side? So let's start with the positives and the positives on the offensive side of the ball. And let's look at some clips. So let's look at this first one.
Filipowski against Kalkbrenner. We get some good big on big here early, and that's a nice move.
So that's an absolutely terrific play by Kyle. He gets the ball up top, and Kalkbrenner's a 7'2" center, rookie center, and Kalkbrenner's guarding him on the perimeter. Kyle gets to his left hand, goes into his left hand, drives the lane. Kalkbrenner's on him, so Kyle spins back. He rotates on his left shoulder back to his right hand and shoots a fadeaway. And that's a beautiful shot. He's shooting it. He's getting it over the top of Kalkbrenner, who was a good shot blocker in college, and he scores. And he does this quite frequently, actually. I mean, this isn't a rare instance. Kyle has shown his ability to shoot the fadeaway, both the fadeaway rotating on his right shoulder and the fadeaway rotating on his left shoulder. He's done it equally well, both sides, and we are going to show that. So let's look at another clip.
Over the top, Juzang, guarded by Harden. In the paint, flip, spins, step back, Jay. Got it. Beautiful. Got it. Beautiful shot.
So here, Kyle, again, he gets the ball, he gets in the paint, but he gets separation by doing the step back fadeaway. And again, a terrific shot over a decent defensive player. That's not, he's not going against, one of the top shot blockers in the NBA, but he's certainly going against a competent defender there on the Clippers. And that is a terrific play. That one-step fadeaway, that's always a nice play. And Kyle does it so effortlessly. So let's look at some more clips.
Filipowski inside on Ingram going baseline. Oh, wow. Go-ahead bucket.
Again, I have gone through this particular clip before, but the thing I love about this particular clip is he's playing against Ingram on the San Antonio Spurs in the Summer League, who is a 6'5" player. So Ingram has him out, and Ingram gets on when Kyle gets the ball on the left portion of the court, Ingram is on his top side coast, so Kyle has a path to the baseline, but Ingram recovers and kind of runs him off into the baseline, but Kyle has the wherewithal, the skill level to spin back towards the basket with his right hand and finish at the rim with his right hand. And again, this is a terrific basketball play, and it shows just so much skill that Kyle has. I mean, his ability to handle the ball and go either direction at 6'11" is truly impressive. Let's look at this one once again.
Filipowski inside on Ingram going baseline. Oh, wow. Go-ahead bucket.
Again, Kyle doesn't need to be overly physical with him there. I mean, Kyle could have been a bit more physical with him there, but Kyle has the ability to finesse people. And even though Ingram is only 6'5" and Kyle is essentially 6'11", there's no reason, if you can finesse somebody and finish right at the rim instead of having to go through them like Kyle did here, I mean, it's just a really high skill play. Let's look at the next one.
And as a decoy right there, all eyes on him as he dives. But Filipowski,
I'll tell you, man, what a run. He turned, twisted, and ran right by the big 7'2" big man.
watch this dunk right here. Kyle Filipowski getting by.
On the defense, flipping.
So Kyle Filipowski there had Donovan Klingon guarding him up on the perimeter, and Kyle just did a little bit of hesitation, and he went right by him and just dunked it easily. I mean, he easily went by Klingon. Now, does Klingon move his feet as well as some of the defensive bigs in the NBA that Kyle is going to be matched with? Of course not, but he took advantage of it. He took advantage of his quickness and his ability to handle the ball against a bigger player, and that's exactly what he has to do. And he made Klingon look silly in this particular instance. Let's look at the next one.
With Tinoco and Kyle Filipowski in there.
Flip out of the wing. Yes, three-point ability, lets it fly, knocks it home, and a foul. 4-point opportunity.
So here he's on the perimeter this summer playing against Oklahoma City, and we know that the one thing that we all know based on what we saw last year is Kyle's ability to shoot the ball from the perimeter, at least where he ended up last year, and the mechanics and everything. I mean, it looks really good. It looks really, really good. And this summer, he obviously shot around 40% from the three-point line, and that's a terrific number. And his his ability to shoot that ball easily from the three-point line at his size is truly impressive. And I only have one instance of a three-pointer here because that's really his great strength. And Kyle has shown the ability to shoot it from either corner, from either side up top, from the right or the left. I mean, he's shooting it from the three-point line all across the three-point. He's not just shooting corner threes. He's easily shooting all threes, and that's impressive. And his shot is actually fairly quick for somebody his size. I mean, he doesn't need a lot of time to get into it. I mean, it's really nice. So let's look at the next clip.
Hops it back to Cody. Here's Williams. He's got space, working, stops and pops off the elbow. Good look, tapped up once by Flip. Pokes it back out. The Jazz have a...
So this is Kyle just hustling on the offensive boards, where he's getting his hands on the ball where he needs to make plus plays. And again, Kyle has shown the ability to do this. He's shown the willingness to do this, and he's certainly shown the effort required to be a decent offensive rebounder. And he displayed that many times this summer, and he displayed it sometimes within the regular season last year too, when he was playing roughly 20 minutes a game. So really, really positive in terms of going after offensive rebounds. Let's look at the next one.
Slides out, passes, corner. The shot is away and a little strong by Harkless. Filipowski, the offensive rebound. Clayton tries the three, won't go. Flip again, keeps it alive. Inside, jackknife shot.
Again, here, 2 offensive rebounds, 2+ plays on the offensive side of the ball where he didn't actually end up scoring the basket, but he made the right play twice so that Harkless could end up getting the jackknife layup in the end. I mean, absolutely terrific hustle plays, effort plays, and that's going to be required for Kyle to be a good player on a good team. Let's look at the next one.
Stay attached. Better off.
Springer missed that shot, rebounded. The Jazz get a second opportunity, and Michael Potter pulls the rim down.
Jazz salvage a good play here. Deontay up in the air. Filipowski's right there to get it. He has just become so good with his vision at just finding his teammates.
Again, so Kyle picked up a loose ball here, and his ability to see the floor and understand what's going on around him is really high level for somebody who plays his position, whether that's a 4 or, spotman at 5. His ability to see the floor, his feel when he has the ball in his hands is really good. And we're going to go through some other passing plays here, but his overall awareness of what's going on around him on the offensive end is so good that I think the Jazz really have to play him. So let's look at the next one, another passing play.
8th rebound at 7 early.
One touch pass, corner, it's up and in.
So here he gets the ball in the paint, and he doesn't have the ball in his, it's just a touch pass. He gets the ball in the paint, but he has Harkless open on the wing, and he just goes up, gets the ball in the air, and just kind of touch passes it to Harkless. It's an on-the-money pass to Harkless, so he can easily go up and make the 3-point out of the right corner. And again, it's terrific awareness of knowing where your guys are, who's open, before he ever touches the ball. Before he ever touches the ball, he knew what he was going to do with the ball. And that's what you like to see. That's the awareness that is really rare in somebody his size. Let's look at the next clip. More passing.
Over, out front, one man to beat. Filipowski runs, scores, yes. Boy, what a beautiful dish off.
Here he gets the ball on the fast break from Walt Clayton Jr., and he could have gone in for his own score, but instead, while on the run, on the fast break, he throws a lob to Walter Clayton Jr., where Walt can finish with his left hand on the left side of the basket with the layup. And again, it's another terrific pass where he needs to have awareness while he's on the run. And he certainly does that here. And he demonstrates that. And he demonstrates the ball handling ability, the skill level, and the ability to throw an on-target pass, easily. It doesn't look like it takes a lot of effort whenever Kyle's doing stuff like this. It seems like it just comes to him naturally. The next clip.
Jazz have it. They feed quickly to Collier. Inside. Flip. One bounce. He's tied up. They let them play on corner. The triple. Good.
Now here, Kyle either clearly travels or it's a jump ball. One of the two needed to be called, but they didn't call it. But then nevertheless, Kyle got the ball. He had the ball underneath. He was like double, triple teamed. He wrestled the ball away from the guys underneath the basket after taking like 3 steps. And then he sidearms it out to the left corner for a 3-pointer. But again, in the end, even though they didn't call a jump or travel, which they should have called, he still made a really good play in the end and getting the ball out when he had multiple guys on him and getting it to an open guy in the corner, and eventually made the 3-pointer. So again, terrific awareness of the other people around him, where they are, what they're doing, and where guys are on the court, and where the open guys are on the court. So the next clip.
Filipowski from Collier. That ball again down along his knees. He dropped it, still fights for it, and then that ball is thrown out of bounds. Good hustle by Philip.
And this shows just a hustle play. His willingness to get on the ground and go after a ball that's loose on the floor. And he's done this multiple times. I've seen him do this multiple times. Now, not all bigs are so willing to get on the ground and go after it and wrestle on the ground to get it. I mean, Kyle has certainly showed a willingness to do this in his short time in the NBA and now his 2 summer leagues, especially this past summer league. The fiery, competitiveness they showed in this last summer league, I thought was terrific. So let's look at now that we went through a bunch of versatility on offense, and we certainly looked at his ability to go to his left hand, to his right hand, off the dribble with his left or right, his ability to pass the ball, he can fade away going to his left, to his right, he can spin. I mean, he can do all these things, and his ability to see the floor is top notch. But for Kyle to be a good player on a good team, he must defend. And in that one interview he had this summer where he said, I cannot be a liability on defense, is absolutely true. That's the key to opening up his minutes and his ability to be an effective NBA basketball player, a really good NBA basketball player. It's the defense. So let's look at a few clips of him trying to defend and some limitations.
Than everybody else on the floor in a way that just like physically he's carrying himself and his strength and his self-assuredness.
Wow.
Now this one, this is one of the cases where Kyle, he goes out to the left corner to guard a person with the ball on the three-point line, and that person went by him like he was almost not even there. I mean, this is the one that cannot happen. This case cannot happen. This can't be allowed to happen. And these are the ones where he has to do a better job. I mean, he went on almost a straight line drive right by him like he wasn't even there. And you just can't do that. You have to be able to slow him up at least somewhat. You can't just let him do straight line drives right by you and get to the basket for an and one. It's like the guy gets the ball here and he just goes straight here, and Kyle, I mean, he's by Kyle before Kyle even does anything. And again, these are the ones that must change. For Kyle to be good, he must change this one. So let's look at the next clip of a different type of defense, where he's offering defense in the paint.
That ball alive.
4 offensive rebounds in less than 3 minutes for Flip.
Yeah, I'm not sure the body of the rookie Kyle Filipowski would have been able to do that last year. But right here you see a little contact in that ball alive.
So in that particular case, okay, so we look at the measurables of Kyle, and this is the key with Kyle. If we look at the measurables, in the pre-draft combine, he measured out at 6'10.75 inches in his height. He also measured out at 8'11" standing reach. Now, 8'11", it's not terrible, but it's not particularly good. I mean, you look at the case of Ace Bailey and Ace Bailey's height. Ace Bailey measured out at the pre-draft combine at 6'7.5 inches. Yet his standing reach is also 8'11". It's exactly the same as Kyle. So Kyle doesn't have particularly good length in terms of plus length for his height. Also, Kyle's vertical leap. When he was tested at the pre-draft combine, his standing vertical is 27 inches. Now, that's not a terrible number, but it's also not a good number. It's really mediocre. And his max vertical tested out at 32.5 inches. So again, it's not a terrible number, but it's also not a great number. So the point is, his ability to get vertical in the paint, to be a shot blocker, I mean, he's always going to struggle to do that because he just he wasn't blessed with those particular characteristics in terms of a 40-inch vertical or another 5 inches of length on his standing reach. He just doesn't have that. So to becoming a shot blocker is something that he's unlikely to ever be. I mean, that's just the way it is. He's unlikely to ever be that guy where he's going to get 2 shot blocks a game, even a shot block and a half a game. And quite frankly, in an NBA season, I don't foresee Kyle he's unlikely to be at 1 shot block a game. This last season with the Jazz playing 20 minutes, I believe he was at 0.3. And this summer in the summer league, he did block some shots in summer league, but he ended up the year at this past summer league at 0.7 blocks per game while he was playing 30 minutes a game. So he's not going to be a shot blocker. He's not going to be that guy. So what he needs to be is somebody who can be present himself enough to the point where he is good enough where he's not a liability. In this particular instance, on this particular play that we just showed you, I mean, a taller player probably would have got that shot, but Kyle's not that taller player. He's, he just doesn't have that arm length to do that. A little bit longer guy would have got that shot, and he wouldn't. And in this case, the OKC had an and one. But Kyle can do other things. You just got to be good enough. That's the key. He has to be good enough to where his offense counterbalances, some of the things where he struggles with on defense. So let's look at one more where Kyle is trying to guard a guy on the perimeter.
His chest, but nothing that warranted a whistle.
Again, everybody gets scored on here and there, and Kyle did a decent job on this particular play. And he had to and the player, I think it was Barnheiser for OKC this summer, had to make a reasonably difficult right-handed, running half-hook layup off the glass. So he did a decent job here, but it wasn't a great job. He certainly did a better job here than that first clip we showed where the guy just blew by him and in for the and one. So again, Kyle, it's going to come down to his defense. He wasn't blessed with the measurables to be a shot blocker in the paint, but he lacks some of the foot speed to be a really good perimeter defender. So he's just going to have to get better he's going to have to know guys' tendencies, the people he's guarding. He's going to have to get better with angles, and he's going to have to move his feet a little bit better. But overall, both in the paint and on the perimeter, what Kyle must do is he must be an incredible player in terms of effort on the defensive end. Effort can make up for a lot. And that's where maybe he can get to be slightly better than a mediocre defender. He's not going to ever be a good defender, but just get to a point where he is decent to maybe just slightly better than decent, and then he's so good on offense that can counterbalance the limitations he has on defense. So it's going to come down to effort and getting a little bit better, just getting a little bit better. But really, it's the effort. He needs to be a big time plus on effort. So that's my contention. That's what I see with Filipowski. I think he's a terrific player. I'm extraordinarily happy that the Jazz have him on the roster because the Jazz definitely need more passers. They need more ball movers. And he is that. He's so skilled with the ball in his hands. Yes, can he improve still? On the move with the dribble and the passing off the dribble, yeah, he can certainly improve with that. He can still get a little bit more shifty with his ball handling, certainly do that as well. I would like to see him improvement in both those areas because right now he's more of a stationary passer. When he does pass, he's more of a stationary passer than he is with the ball off the dribble. He's certainly better in stationary plays rather than being on the move with the dribble right now. But I think he certainly has the capability to improve in both of those areas. Kyle is just a terrific player. I think he's a terrific talent. I think the Jazz are super fortunate that they were able to draft him. I mean, him getting the MVP of this past summer league, I think is proof that he certainly has the capability to be a big minutes player for the Utah Jazz moving forward. And the competitiveness I've seen of him on the floor is super impressive. He gets into a scuffle with Alex Tui of the Golden State Warriors and throws him to the floor. I mean, I love to see that. Absolutely love it. Now, do I want Kyle to be a dirty player? I don't want anybody to be a dirty player, but I'm absolutely not opposed to guys just getting into it. The competitiveness, those juices flow when you're on the court, and I love to see guys do that. And that made me super happy when I saw Kyle get into it with Tui. So that's the thesis for this particular topic. Yes, I think Kyle Filipowski can become that guy where he can play good good solid minutes on the Utah Jazz when the Jazz become a good team. So I will call that quits, and I will talk to everybody later. But before we say goodbye, please like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. And you can also follow us on X at Jazz Smack, and we will talk to everybody later.